And so here we are in this practice of Yoga Nidra, coming together as a group. And of course, any time a group come together into the practice of Yoga Nidra, it's a unique experience, as every single one of you brings your own energy and intention into the practice. So as we come together into this Nidra together this morning, let's begin by just recognizing that for the duration of this Yoga Nidra, there's nothing you need to say, there's nowhere you need to go, nothing that needs to be done. There's no little exchanging of emails and text messages, sending little bits of yourself off all over the place, all over the world. All of those roles and routines of life, the different hats you wear, maybe you're a parent, maybe you've got pets, or maybe you're looking after older relatives, friend, neighbour, partner, employee, employer. You can let go of all of those things because they're not part of this practice. This is a practice where you're really warmly invited to spend some time being rather than doing. Because you're not a human doing, you're a human being. And of course we live in a culture that really glorifies doing and kind of glorifies relentless doing. And that it's quite radical, it's quite a radical act to push back against that and come and value rest and being. And a state of being is natural to you. Children are fantastic at being in the moment and being absorbed by, whatever it is they're doing, being absorbed. There's a famous expression, play is the work of children. Or play is children's work, something along those lines. I think it might be Maria Montessori. To be really absorbed in the moment, to really be here now, present and attentive. And in your Satya practice this morning, we were really coming into that, noticing what's going on right now, being really in the body, seeing into the body. The Buddhist tradition of Vipassana, the meditation retreats, the silent meditation retreats, the period of silence, and the cultivation of the inner seeing. So, with that sense of inner seeing, how about we imagine that the body were hollow? Hollow like a great bronze statue that you might see of a deity in the East, somewhere in Asia, those giant bronze statues. And as you inhale, it could be as though you could breathe in through the soles of your feet, all the way up to the crown of your head, and back down again. And the breath, the prana, the life force, could move with lightness through that space within the body. As if the channels of the body were free and open, vibrant. There are a sense of well-being and the pleasure and the enjoyment of just simply breathing. Nowhere to go. Just being here now. And you don't even need to follow my instructions. You could just maintain a connection to the sound of my voice, because this is your practice, and you can experience this practice of Yoga Nidra in any way that you wish. Just enjoying the breath as it flows in and flows out. And as the breath is flowing from the soles of the feet to the crown of the head and back down again, I wonder, could it be that the breath could flow from the front of the body to the back of the body simultaneously? Could that happen now? And as the breath flowed in this way, there could be a deeply peaceful feeling of the physical shape and form of your body resting on the surface of the earth. And it may be that you notice with each and every outgoing breath that feeling of enjoyment of just being in the breath, in the cycle of the breath, and the deeply peaceful feeling that comes with the exhale could increase moment by moment. A sense of the body feeling supported by the ground beneath you, supported by the earth, for optimal health and well-being, as if you were cradled by the earth herself. As you drift even deeper down into that state of resting and being, and you know, the wonderful thing about the breath is that it is a real act of balance in the body. With the exhalation, there can be the letting go and the surrender. You know, the being held by the earth, the supportedness. And with the inhalation, there can be a feeling perhaps of buoyancy and lightness, of expanding. Perhaps expanding beyond the boundaries of your physical body into something even more. As if it felt really good with the inhalation to go into the lightness. And really good with the exhalation to go into the surrender. And I'm going to invite you to come on a journey with me. And you know, it might be that you prefer just to find a comfortable seat. Maybe there's the perfect bench in the perfect spot and you just wish to sit down. Or maybe you might like to come with me on a journey as you follow the sound of my voice, and we just go from each part of the body in turn, as if we were taking a journey around the body, you know, as if the body were a landscape. And it could be that you would like to walk around the body, you know, as if you were walking the countryside and the landscape, or perhaps you might like to ride your bike, drive a car, or be moving through the air in some way, in some kind of fantastical, limitless way of just travelling around each part of the body in turn, so that all the named and the unnamed parts of the body can relax even more than before as you bring your awareness to the thumb of the left hand. Just placing your awareness on the thumb of the left hand, the thumb of the right hand, left index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, right index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, palm of the left hand, palm of the right hand, the whole left arm from the wrist to the shoulder, the whole right arm from the wrist to the shoulder, travelling over the contours of the landscape of the body, the centre of the chest, the sternum, the lower belly, the pubis, left hip, right hip, whole left leg, heel of left foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth and fifth, right hip, whole right leg, heel of right foot, big toe, second, third, fourth, fifth. Awareness moving over both legs, travelling up to the pelvis and the pubis, the lower belly, the navel, the solar plexus, back into the heart space, right breast, left breast, right collarbone, left collarbone, the throat, chin, left ear, left eye, right eye, crown of head, and just floating down the back side of the body all the way to the heels of the feet. Whole body, whole body, whole body. Whole body resting, whole body resting. This practice of resting, of really being in the moment and in the experience of the body, the felt experience of the body, as you just gently start to travel back from Yoga Nidra into the waking state by touching the thumb to each finger pad in turn, very carefully. And as you carefully touch the thumb to each finger in turn, that sense of care and kindness towards the body can extend into a little wriggle of the fingers, a movement of the arms perhaps, carefully and kindly extending and stretching ever so slowly. Ever so slowly, ever so slowly. And as you begin to stretch and lengthen, perhaps moving into space with a kind of joyful feeling of being in your physical body and being able to be here this morning in this practice of Yoga Nidra, having the time and the resources and valuing these kinds of practices enough to make, it possible for you to be here, to have made this a priority in your life, kind of joyful feeling of stretching and lengthening out in any way that feels good and taking up some space, really occupying some space. Or maybe you could have a little yawn, a toggle of the jaw and a stretch. And that feeling of joy and vitality in the body perhaps hooks you into a kind of sense of, motivation and challenge. Perhaps there's something that you are sort of looking towards cultivating or developing, something you're wishing to do. As you gently roll over onto your side or, into some comfortable position in movement. If you're laying on your tummy, you might like to just sort of press back into a child pose or something. Easing out, coming gently away from the floor. This transition from Yoga Nidra back to the waking state is really special. And it's really not to be rushed. Because you want to sort of gather up the goodness of the practice and bring it back with you. And take it into the rest of your day and, have little sort of remnants of it, little glimmers of it moving into your week and the future. And as you lay on your side, just noticing how it is you feel. Good, and then from there you can come very gently to sitting as this practice of Yoga Nidra is complete. And then in completion of the practice, you could rest your hands in your lap or you could bring the palms of your hands together. And then as you exhale, just drop the forehead forward. And acknowledge that seed of original wisdom, original stillness, in lots of Eastern traditions said to reside in the energetic heart space. And that gesture of dropping the forehead forward, the kind of contents of the mind, in yoga we call it the chitta vritti. All the thoughts and the experiences of being human, just empty them into the ocean of the heart. And then from there you can relax your hands down, lift your gaze, let the eyes just flush a good few times over the surface of the eyeballs, kind of refreshing.